I grew up in Northeast Ohio in the 1990s at a time when the area was in its transition from industrial heartland to America's Rust Belt. This was a concern for a lot of the families in the area because Timken Steel and Hoover Vacuum were still really big employers. And I remember a lot of conversation and articles in the newspaper about what was going to happen to those manufacturing jobs. Were plants going to close? And in my family, my grandfather owned a saw sharpening company that serviced a lot of local manufacturing business. And we felt really fortunate that the company was able to stay afloat through the ups and downs of the 1990s and early 2000s.
So I grew up in the 1990s in the Detroit area next door to a city called Pontiac, Michigan, which gave its name to a brand of automobile that's not made anymore. Over the time that I lived there, the car plant next to my house was sort of slowly decommissioned and shut down over time. What's interesting is the neighborhood I grew up in was an upper middle class neighborhood, and it remains so to this day. But the big change is that the composition of the families in the neighborhood has changed from when I was young, being primarily families that had an income earner who worked in one of the auto factories. A lot of the families now are made up of administrative professionals. The auto workers have kind of retired, and there haven't been any to replace them.
So I grew up in the 2000s and 2010s in a town called Columbus, Indiana. Columbus's largest employer is an engine company called Cummins, and my family immigrated there because they hired my dad, who's a mechanical engineer, to go work there. Cummins hires a lot of immigrants on H-1B visas. We were one of maybe about 100 Chinese American families living in the area. I feel like this connection to international trade actually helped the city be economically and a socially vibrant place to live, and so I have a lot of good memories from living in that town.
These experiences are reflected in the research that I recently wrote about. You can read the article at minneapolisfed.org.